Hi there. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the Myers-Briggs personality types in relation to superhero Batman. And I think a lot of these personality types, I think they're great. I don't think they're necessarily ironclad accurate. They came up with in the 40s these 16 personality types. But I think that people can exhibit qualities from the various personality types, but they may have various ones that represent them more accurately. But overall, Batman is probably an INFJ, if not an INTJ. Um, so INFJs, they're supposed to feel deeper than other personality types, but they don't heal particularly well. So if you can think about the superheroes and which ones lost their parents, Superman, Barry Allen, and many other superheroes happens to everyone. Everyone's going to lose their parents, um, but none of those reacted in the same way as the way Batman reacted to his parents dying. It totally destroyed him, and he never got over it. And he felt the pain like ridiculously deeply in a way that he became Batman. He became a superhero because of this. Really, he didn't have any innate superpowers, so he used this pain inside as this impetus for becoming the superhero. So it wasn't logic that drove him to become Batman. It was this feeling inside, and not many people are capable of feeling to the depths that these characters can. So they can brood a lot, and Batman's the same. He is emotional. Um, INFJs, they feel this responsibility for the world's problems, and they suffer sometimes from this savior complex. They really want to do something to solve a lot of the problems in the world and around them. So they can suffer from guilt, and guilt that you know Harvey Dent and Two Face. So he wasn't able to save his friend. So that's one of the key themes regarding that particular character. And he hasn't been able to save his parents getting killed. He wasn't able to save Jason Todd and different people, and he's haunted by these experiences. So and all throughout, he wants to reform people. He's trying to reform criminals. He offers compassion to people like Mr. Freeze and Clayface, for example. He wants to, save them from their destiny. Really, he wants to help, and you'll find different examples of him trying to reform and help the people that he's fighting against. So that's a big topic, which I'm not going to go into further. So they see the world as it could be, not as it actually is, and they try to do something about it. So they're dreaming, but they're also acting on those dreams. They are intense people. They're taking on the world's problems. They're carrying that on their shoulders. They're making certain sacrifices, and they're willing to give up everything for the greater good, including relationships and actually their own life. Batman's willing to be the bad guy if it gets the job done, and he sort of takes on a lot of burdens, really. Um, they're capable of a lot of compassion, and they do feel empathy, a certain amount of it. Um, so that is definitely something that Batman has. People view him as like this cold and unfeeling person, but that's not accurate. He has a lot of compassion for people. He takes children, he adopts them. So he takes Dick, Jason, Tim, Stephanie, and Barbara, and he's like sort of like an Angelina Jolie of this universe. He counsels Superman regarding his, relationship with Superboy. Um, that kind of thing. Um, he tries to reform people. He believes that people can change, and he has faith. He's an optimist, and he may not make the best mentor, because he's such a perfectionist. He has insanely high expectations for himself and for the people around him. So because he's pushing for more and he wants other people around him to have the high standards, this can backfire sometimes. Um, so when they become stressed, they can revert to their tertiary function, which can become what looks like an unbalanced ESTP, which is really their opposite in certain ways. And they become very focused on the present, on the now. So they can indulge in a lot of sex, food, exercise, or even fighting. Um, so some people think that he couldn't be an INFJ because he goes around hitting people. But these INFJs, they can be very physical and carnal when they're angry, when they're stressed or off balanced. And they don't adequately deal with the overflow of emotions. It can be explosive sometimes when they get very angry. Uh, so when they become overwhelmed with their responsibilities, they can turn off their compassion and they can turn off their empathy. They can become very cold, unfeeling, and judgmental. There is this defense mechanism that they've got, because they do have a lot of feeling inside. I believe that. They do have a deep dark side that can be quite scary. Um, so they're passionate about their causes, but they have to be careful they don't go too far, that they don't fall off into this dark abyss. So they can be quite broody. They can be really good actors. If you look up some of the famous Hollywood actors, some of those are often INFJs. They really have a deep understanding of other people. They're adaptable. They can play different characters. Bruce Wayne, he can pretend to be this extrovert. He can pretend to be this rich playboy, but he's got that mask which is over the Batman, which is what he really is. Um, so they have their own moral code. They make the decisions using. They've got a really powerful, and I will say this about myself. I have a very powerful intuition and gut feeling, and that's helped me make decisions which sometimes have been very favourable for me. Batman follows his hunches, and he's quite often right, or usually right. So he's a great detective. They do love logic, and they're using logic all the time. But it's a tool. Ultimately, logic is a tool, and it's not the ultimate factor that allows them to make their split decisions. Which they do have this sort of intuition feeling, their gut feeling that they're going to end up going through. Once they've applied that logic, they will then ask their gut what the gut says as well. And it doesn't always work. It's not infallible, but it works a lot of the time. And they can be quite good interrogators. They can be quite good manipulators. They understand people in a way that few people can understand. They've seen a lot, really. So that is one view of what Batman is. I've talked before about the Batman and the Joker, so it's a fascinating relationship, or you know, what they've got, you know, but just constant struggle between those guys. But Batman refuses to kill him, despite Joker's insanity. He doesn't kill him. Um, they are arguably the inverse. They're the total opposite of the other. Joker, some people have said that he's an ESTP, because he loves this chaos and breaking rules. So, you know, they are this sort of opposite of each other. Um, and really, that's all I've got to say for now on that. But if you like these sort of analyses of personality types, particularly in relation to the fictional characters and the superheroes, I find this fascinating. So I'd love to do more videos like this. What would you like to see? What's your next superhero that you'd like to see? And I will do another of these videos. Um, Again, just it's such an interesting thing because we all have our own personality traits, and you know, maybe you want to find out more about what you really are when it comes down to it. It can take you many years to really find out what you are as a person. I mean, I'm 38, 39 this year. I've matured a lot over the years, and by early 40s, you should really know what makes you tick, what your strengths and weaknesses are. Because you know you can be amazing, you can be Bruce Wayne, you can be Batman, but even they have weaknesses. And of course, you know, the Joker with his amazing chaos. Well, I say amazing chaos. Um, with his, you know, extreme creation of chaos and rule breaking, you know, he's obviously got his many issues to deal with too. So you know, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, no matter what they say. So that's it for now. Not for today. I'll probably come up with another one in a bit, but I hope you got something out of that, and catch you in the next one. Bye.